Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Karida Ramzik. If you're new here, please don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to like, and please do comment. I'd really love to hear from you. And yes, this is my doodle daddle, okay? Welcome to my YouTube channel, guys. Thank you to my new 5 subbies. Thank you so much. It really means a lot to me. It really does, because I am on a mission to get to 100 subscribers. Guys, I've been on YouTube for like close to 5 years, and each and every year I'm improving. I'm trying to improve. Let me put it like that. I am trying to improve. So I thought I should do maybe a little, morning coffee story time before I get into my day. So yeah, hope you stick around and hope you enjoy every single video, every single vlog, every single story time that's on my channel. If you haven't watched my previous videos, you can go back and watch my previous videos to know more about me and more about my life. And yeah, but let's go into it. So I think not last year before last year, I got married. I got actually not married. It is married. I got lobola on the 14th, if I'm not mistaken, of December, right? And at that time I was like around I think I was like 2 months pregnant. Yeah, 2.5 months pregnant. And yes, I was away. I knew from the beginning that I was pregnant because I got super thirsty, guys. I would buy Coke, I would buy water, I would buy juice, I would buy what did I like to buy? I used to buy like what's this soda thing, man? I forgot. But I'll put it down there. And I used to be so thirsty, and I asked myself, why am I so thirsty? And I didn't want any food, but I was so thirsty. I used to drink a lot of liquids. And then I just realized that my body's actually changing. I'm starting to get flippant bad pimples. I used to have such bad pimples, guys. My face was going through the pits. I'm telling you, it was going through the pits. So I decided, you know what? Let me go to Dr. De Beer. She's based in Three Rivers Midveld Hospital, and I was like, let me just go and check, because the last time I went to her, I had wanted to check if I was okay down there. I was just checking, daily gynae checkups, and she's the best, guys. She's the best GP. She's a GP now. She's always been a GP, but she had went into gynae stuff, So yeah, I went to Dr. De Beer, and she did confirm that yes, I am pregnant. And I think around that time I was around 6 weeks, if I'm not mistaken. I was 6 weeks pregnant, and I knew, and I was like, I knew. And the nice thing about this is that it was something that I had planned and my husband had planned, and it was something that we've always wanted, right? Because of my age, I'm just like, I'm not having kids beyond 35, guys. I'm not doing that. There's a lot of risks that come with it, and I do not know what mine could be. I could not have, but I don't know what mine could be, and I don't want to find out. So I thought, you know what, it's 2 kids aren't bad after all. So yeah, went to Dr. De Beer after my appointment. Obviously I started getting my treatment, right? I started getting my treatment. So December, yes, my lobola celebration happened. And yeah, after that, my husband's grandfather passed away. I think by then my stomach started to grow, and I started to know that, you know what, I'm not ready for people to find out about my pregnancy. And not a lot of people knew, right? I think it was just a handful of people that knew about my pregnancy, and I preferred it that way because um it's just peaceful to enjoy your pregnancy without people asking you questions, and people looking at you on your tummy, people holding your tummy. It's just awkward for me. So I just thought, you know what, I'm still, I'm slim. And around that time, I think I was 3 months in January, and I wasn't even showing. I had a bit of a bump, like sort of like a funny dabby tummy going on, but it wasn't anything that you could actually say, oh, Emil. So I could get away with it. I could actually get away with it. So what turned around for me is that in March, I think it was, I can't remember, I think it was second week of March, I got into an accident, right? And when I got into an accident, obviously I have my seatbelt on. So usually around my tummy area, I would hold my seatbelt forward so that it does not hurt my tummy, because obviously I'm just precautionate at this point. So at that point, it was in the morning, I was taking my son to school, and this guy hit my car. Like, he smashed into my car, and I was traumatized. I was really traumatized. More I was leaning onto if my son was okay. That's what I was really worried about, because the airbags had popped, I think, something like that, and it had melted on his underarm, and he was actually getting blisters from that. So I was more concerned about his well-being more than mine. I thought, okay, no, nothing happened to me. I'm just a bit dizzy from the collision, but other than that, I am perfect. But as we went out of the car, I sat onto the pavement. So they usually say, don't drink water after an accident. What. So there's this little scrapyard at the corner, and this lady was sitting in her car, and she saw everything that happened. She ran to me, and she's like, I saw he hit you. I saw that, and she actually fetched water for me. So the person that owns that scrapyard called everyone. They called my insurance. They called the ambulance. I was really blessed, because next door of the scrapyard is actually a family friend that lives there. So it was such a blessing that those people were at home to actually come to the scene. They were actually shocked to see me. They're like, it's you who got into an accident, And it was really, 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 really traumatizing. More especially, I was so concerned about my son. So they asked me, I think that when the paramedics got there, they actually asked me, they were like, what is happening? Are you okay? Are you taking any meds? Do you have any conditions? And I was like, I'm pregnant. And they were like, yo, we need to take you to the hospital immediately with your son. Obviously, he had to go and remove those blisters, otherwise they would cause an infection. So we went to the hospital. The other guy also went to the hospital. I think he went to Kopano. We went to the hospital, went to my clinic in Vereeniging, and on our way there, everything was fine. Everything was cool. Hey, I got to the hospital, guys, and obviously in casualty they do checks. You get drips and everything. So my son is next to me, and luckily my mom was there also. So as they were removing his blisters, guys, he was screaming because they were getting bigger. I think they were very small. By the time the accident happened, we couldn't see anything. But as time went by, I think they were getting heated. They got big. Yeah, guys, he was screaming. So it was kind of painful to see that, and I felt like, I could have avoided him getting into such, a debacle, because now it's going to cause all this disruption, whatever you want to call it, in his mind. And I was just not ready to deal with mental illnesses and mental health, and all this therapy thing. After an accident you need therapy, and I actually saw that after the whole healing process, that he was still a bit reluctant to get into a car. Every time we turned, he would be hesitant, and so I just didn't want it to get to that point. But as we're in hospital, my son was discharged same day, and one of the nurses came and they were like, we need a sample of your urine to check how far you are in your pregnancy. And also one of the things that we need is to check if the baby's okay. Hey guys, as I went to pee, as I pulled down my my lady pants, yo guys, there was blood. And it wasn't a matter of it was still coming out. It came out at once and it dried up on my panties, and it was, and that I think I had my panty liner on, so it went far beyond my panty liner, and it was I don't know, my mind just shape shift. Hello baby. Hello. I hope that didn't show. Hello Pakona. Hello my kosh mukana saba. Pika na posho popo no. Pako ma koshoko. Hello Pakona. So as we're in hospital, fine, I saw that, and it was such a painful experience for me, because I was just like, I'm not going through this. I'm definitely not going through this. And guys, when one of the ladies came in, she was a nurse. She also helped me give birth, which was quite wonderful. She came in and she was like, no, we're just going to check if the baby's okay. And one of the things I said in my mind was, God, please prepare me for anything that could happen. I think that period, that 2 seconds that happened in between that, I was so scared. I was so scared, but I just didn't want to give that emotion too much energy. So I was just like, you know what, everything is fine. Everything is fine, and God has said everything is fine, and He won't put me through anything that I can't handle as an individual. And as she came in, right, obviously they have that thing that they check with, and the baby was moving but was a bit still, you know. And then I think a minute into the session, she started kicking. And I was like, I can feel that she's kicking. But it wasn't those hard kicks, because obviously I'm still early in my pregnancy. I think I was like 21 weeks, somewhere around there, 21, 22 weeks, I'm not sure. And I felt those, you know, those movements that you get in your tummy. I'm not talking to you. Those movements that you get in your tummy. So I could feel her, and I was like, I could feel her. And she was like, yeah, you can feel her, but I can't see anything happening on the monitor. Yes, there's a bit of movement, but they're a bit, they are, what do they call it? Like they're a bit slow, or worrisome, you know. And I kept praying in my mind. I was like, I pray that nothing happens. So they moved me into the obstetrician ward, and as I got there, my mind just went like, you okay. And because Dr. De Beer was not stationed at Mediclinic Vereeniging, they got me they got me that doctor. I'll write him down, but he's the best doctor. It's just that he is so busy, it's not even funny. So as they got the doctor was like, this baby's fine. This baby's moving like no one's business. It's fine. And at this point, even if there was something wrong, they couldn't do much, because the baby is still small. The fetus is still small. So they can't really do much, you know. Which I was just like, but as long as he said the baby's perfect. And then he showed me that the baby's still moving, the fetus still there, the heartbeat, the spinal cord is still intact, the brain, you know, everything that was going on at that time, everything was still perfect. And I was just like, thank you Lord, I can't thank you enough. But then I have another thing that's causing my anxiety, the accident. Guys, the process of the accident was not that strainsome, but just the thought of the process, going through that process, having to do statements, having to run around, getting proof of trackers and all these things. It was exhausting, guys. It was truly exhausting. And I think I stayed in the hospital for 3 days. Yes, I think, yeah. Hospital for 3 days, right? And it wasn't anything that I could say was something that I struggled with. I really enjoyed my stay there. I think it was a time for me to also relax my body, my mind, but I was still worried about my son. But thank you to Busheki Bile. Ooh, I love you, girl. She took my son in for the weekend, and they went for, I think there was a marathon, not even a marathon. There was some sort of like a sporting event at where is it? In Three Rivers, and he took my son and his son there, and yeah, for him to just forget about the whole situation, you know. And she was there, and I really truly do appreciate her. Anytime I have anything, she's just there. Like, that's one of the school mommies that I appreciate a lot. Like, really, I appreciate her a lot. So I went home, I think, on a Saturday. My friend was getting married that Saturday. I had booked, guys. Woo! I had booked, and her wedding was in Mildersdrift, and I could not go because I was being discharged on that Saturday. And obviously I can't drive. I don't have a car. Obviously my mom would lend me her car, but I was just like, I'm not in a state to drive. I'm still not okay. I can drive somewhere close around town, but not anywhere far around Joburg. So my mom lent me her car, her other car, for me to run my errands and be able to fix my stuff. And even going to work, guys, she had lent me her car, and I really, 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 really do appreciate that about my mom. She was there throughout the process. My husband came, guys. I called my husband right after the accident happened, and it did not even take him half a day to get here because he's based in the Northwest, and he was there for me. He was there. I don't know how to thank that man. He was there for me, and it was truly, truly amazing to have that support system. Around me. So kind of looking back at everything, I really enjoyed my pregnancy, guys. I really truly enjoyed my pregnancy. If you can check one of my videos, my baby shower video is there, so I don't have to really go into depth about my baby shower. My baby shower is there. I had a beautiful pregnancy because I did not struggle as much as I struggled with my first baby. I not really struggled, but because I was not working, it became difficult to afford certain things. So I lived on minimal things, but it still worked out. So on the second week of July, from July onwards, I changed my gynae to Dr. Lanake, because Dr. De Beer is no longer practicing as a gynae, right? So I started going to Dr. Lanake, and as I started going to Dr. Lanake, he was my mom's gynae with my 2 siblings, right? And it was just amazing because now it's like I'm the one that's going to him, you know. He's a family friend also, but at the same time, it felt good to be in good hands. Obviously, some people had different experiences with him, but for me, he was 10 out of 10 for me. Obviously, once you go to your gynae, I think around 20 weeks, you start doing tests. So they started testing for everything. Dr. De Beer tested for everything. Obviously, my iron levels were very low, very, very low, which is something that I expected because I have very low iron. So Dr. Lanake also did some tests, and he's like, I need to do some tests also so that I know that you are 100% okay before you give birth, because you're like 2-3 weeks away from giving birth. So we need to check everything. So I went, and he took a swab, right? He took a swab underneath, and I can't remember what it's called. I'll write it underneath for me to take a test. Obviously, I needed to go to pathcare for me to submit that swab. And also I needed to check obviously my HIV status. I needed to check my iron levels, how they are now, because obviously I've been taking supplements. And he was also testing, I can't remember what are the other things, right? And when they came back, the swab came back negative, which was good. And the iron levels were still the same. So he had instructed me to go for a Ferri Inject. And a Ferri Inject, I'll put it up here. A Ferri Inject helps with low iron. And guys, I wish I did it earlier. I felt 100%, like even now I still feel better. I do get my lazy days, but I am so much better. Guys, I used to stand, and standing up for 5 minutes was a lot because my head would get dizzy. I'd feel so faint-hearted, like I'd feel like something is happening to me. I needed to sit down. And this is even before I got pregnant, guys. My iron levels have always been very sorry. Sorry. My iron levels got very low. So the Ferri Inject was in something that I had to do at the hospital. He wasn't doing it at his practice, so I had to go back to Mediclinic. If you watch one of my videos again, I do show me with my husband going to get the Ferri Inject. I was not sleeping at the hospital. We opted not to sleep because it was a 1-day process. Obviously it's 2 sessions. I did not go back for my second session, which I should have done, but I went for my first dose, and after that, guys, I felt amazing. I really felt amazing, and to be honest, I think I need it again. I should go back to him. I need it again. So he was just saying that the Ferri Inject helps so that after giving birth I do not faint, because with my first child, as you will see with my previous video, with my first child, I did faint. I literally fainted when I gave birth. After I gave birth, and I fainted even after I went to the toilet in the maternity ward. So none of that happened. None of that happened, guys. Okay, let me just go step by step. So after the Ferri Inject, obviously now I have to go to my gynae every single week because I am close to giving birth. So the following week when I went back to him, he said to me, obviously Dr. De Beer had predicted the 27th of July, and I had predicted the 26th. Not I, Dr. Lenak had predicted the 26th. And he was like, no, it's just a day. So anything could happen between those 2 days. And he said to me, I should choose. If the baby does not come within those 2 days, he is going to do a membrane sweep. Guys, I know a membrane sweep because I did a membrane sweep with my first son. I dread a membrane sweep. I do not want, I do not like, I do not wish for a membrane sweep for anyone. It is the worst. I remember with my first son, when they did the membrane sweep, I was in super pain. And one of the nurses, which is my mother's friend, came through and she was like, I'm just going to do this so that we quicken up the process so that you give birth quickly, because now you're in pain. And she broke my water, obviously, so that also the process fastens up. Woo! So that wabo. So I was just like, you know what? Those videos that I've been watching, the exercise videos, the eating the prunes, I am going there. I am going there, guys. I bought prunes. I bought pineapple. I did not drink the what do you call this thing that they make a goosey with? I did not drink that. I don't like slimy things. So yes, I went and guys, when I went home, I think that week, obviously it was the June July holidays. I was home, and I made sure that I exercised, guys. I made sure that I exercised. I remember that time when I did that. I called my friends. I called Selwan and I called Neo, and I was on the phone with them, and I was like, I'm cleaning this house. I was cleaning my mom's house. I was going up and down. I was doing the stairs things, going down and up, doing my squats. Guys, I was putting in the work, and trust me, it worked. I think on the 25th, I went to work on the 24th. On the 25th, I took a day off, which was my doctor's appointment. The next day, guys, I think it was around, not even the next day. No, on Friday. On Friday, I cleaned the house, and then I think around 1. Obviously, I got throughout, I think from 22 weeks, 21 weeks, 22 weeks, I started getting Braxton Hicks. So I was used to these because I was just like, I pray labors like this, because once you give birth, guys, you forget about labor pains. You know that it was painful, but you forget how it is, the feeling. You just know that it's painful, but the feeling, you forget. So once that process happened, guys, I could not feel that I'm in labor. So I'm talking to my friends on the phone, and we are casual, and I keep saying, these Braxton Hicks, I need to sit down. And I thank the Braxton Hicks because I could not feel 6-7% of my labor pains. So I think around that time I was around 1. During the day I was around 1 centimeter, 2 centimeters. And then around the AMs, around 1 a.m., I started calling my husband, and I was like, I think you should come. And he's in Northwest at that time. And I was like, I think you should come. And he's like, are you sure I shouldn't come? And then I should come, and then you're not in labor. And I was like, I'm in labor. And I do not know how far I am, but it was intensifying. Despite that, I took a bath. I was like, I'm not going to hospital smelling like this. I need to take a bath. I think because I couldn't sleep, we were talking around till the 8 a.m., which was quite funny, because I didn't sleep at all. And I got into the bath, right? And guys, I'm in pain. You know, the labor pains come, and then you have that break moment. Then they start intensifying. You start feeling them. And as I got out of the bath, I was like, Mom, it's time. And around that time, my dad was still around. May he so rest in peace. It was such an exciting moment, and my dad was like, yo, I can't wait, And my mom got out of bed, and we couldn't find her car keys, and I was like, please just take mine. My mom's not used to manual anymore, guys. She prefers her automatic cars. So around that time, my brother had come in, and my brother was from his friends, and he obviously was intoxicated. And he started taking everything of mine. Take that. I packed, guys. I packed I think 2 weeks before. And I was like, I'm ready, guys. I am ready to go. I'm just ready to go. Because I could see with my feet, they were starting to get swollen. Throughout my pregnancy, my feet never got swollen. I never got any swollen legs, any discomforts, nothing. My pregnancy was smooth sailing throughout. Until the one time, after the whole accident, I started getting intense pains. It felt like labor pains, but they were not labor pains. So I had to go, Dr. Ponyani. I had to go back to Dr. Ponyani, and he had given me some, I don't know if it's antibiotics, because he gave me a whole bunch of boxes of those. I still have them. He gave me boxes of those, and they actually did work. But besides that, my pregnancy was smooth sailing. So I went back. What do you want? What do you want? I see your papa. I see your papa. I see your papa. So, where was I? Oh, yes. So I went to the my mom rushed me to the hospital, guys. And as she was rushing me to the hospital, my brother keeps talking to me and he keeps yapping. And I'm like, shut up! I remember that moment so well. I was like, just shut up. He's like, no, I'm trying to make you feel better. I was like, you're going to make me feel better if you keep quiet, you know? And he was like, okay, no, sorry. But you know what? I was like, you want me to kick you? I will kick you. Guys, I was sitting like a dog. You know how a dog is in the car? That's how I was sitting because my labor pains were bad. So as we got on by the emergency door, I started bleeding. So now I had a dress in the car and I took that dress and I, popped it under because I wasn't wearing any pad. And I popped it under, and obviously I wouldn't open my bag right there at the door. And I was like, I'll put it on as I go inside. So I was rushed inside, and obviously the obstetrician ward is very quiet. It's so quiet because the babies are sleeping, the mommies are sleeping. And here we are rushing in there, and it was so intense, guys. We got in there and we were rushing in there, and the nurse that was helping me after the accident was actually on duty that day. So she went in and she started putting in the drips, and I just felt like, you know what, I am going. And I was watching, I put the videos that I kept listening to, the men, I wouldn't say the mentors. Have kids, guys. Yeah, look at. So yeah, I hope you can see me, guys. So she was on duty, and I think as she was checking how far I am, she was like, you're 6 centimeters. Guys, I was so excited. I was like, I went through half of that part at home, and she was just like, you want to give birth at home? What were you doing? I was like, I was not going to spend 5 of those centimeters at the hospital. Definitely not. And that's what I learned from my first pregnancy, that I'm not going to spend the whole, I bit my tongue. I was not going to spend the whole of that entire time at the hospital waiting for 10 centimeters. No ways. I was going to start getting miserable. So she was like, okay, no, let's just wait till you fully dilate so that before we can, take you into the I don't know if it's a theater or what. So as we were sitting there with my mother, guys, the pains were starting to get bad. And I kept reading in my mind, this is for a good purpose, this is for a good purpose. Start breathing, and I could not. This for a good purpose, this for a good purpose. This for a good purpose. But I was not going to scream because I was like, this is not a public hospital where you scream your lungs out, okay? So you're going to be demure and you're going to, do it well. So I was just like, and my mom was there and my mom was like, no, breathe. I was like, you don't know. You, first of all, do not remember how this feels. So you're not going to tell me how to breathe. And she kept laughing at me, guys. She kept laughing at me. And I remember a point in time, I pulled her in. And I was like, this is beautiful. I need a C-section. And she laughed. And she's like, girl, you are scheduled for natural birth. C-section, it does not happen just like that. And I was like, don't tell me what to do, I'm in pain. And she was just like hanging there. I think those 5 centimeters, I did them because I got there around past 2, right? I gave birth at 4, so it took me an hour and a half, somewhere around there, to give birth, guys. And actually she came in 2 times. The first time she came in, she's like, yeah, you're on 8. And I was like, 8 with this pain? And she was like, just hang in there, you'll be fine, just don't push, breathe. And guys, I was just like, I'm not doing this, I am going to push. And if it breaks my, what do you call this, whatever, I do not care. Because she came in and she checked and she left. And I was like, I hope the next time she comes in, I'm actually fully dilated. And that's what actually happened 30 minutes later. I was fully dilated, guys. And I was so happy. I was like, I need to push this baby out right now. Because now I was starting to bleed, and we asked her if it was okay. And she was like, yeah, it's normal. But because the water hasn't broken, let's take her in. And that's what we did. We went in, right? And they pushed me, and my brother was like, Kikana Liena. The nurse was like, I went on your pap, shalapats. The nurse was like, why papa ganje? And he was just like, oh. And then he sat down. Actually, he was with my son. So they rushed me to the theater. My husband was not there yet. And he was like, I'm happy I was not there because I would not be able to function after seeing all of that, you know. So as we went into, I'll call it a theater because I don't know what it's called. As we went in there, obviously I'm pulling my mom in, guys. The pain is excruciating. And they start breaking my water. And then after they broke my water, the pressure became worse. It was like something wanted to come out. It felt like it was pressured, like the baby's head was pressured. And after the nurse broke my water, I was like, she's coming. She's like, okay, if she's coming, push, but don't push with your throat as in like push as in like you are like pooping, you know. And if you poop, it's okay, we will clean it up, but push as if you're pooping. And guys, it took 10 seconds. If 10 seconds is a lot, it took literally 10 seconds to push the baby out. And as the baby came out, it came as a gush, like a hot gush. I think it was hot because she had torn me, but it didn't felt like anything that was painful to bear. I never felt anything, guys, because I think olang hlaba, ne? So I didn't feel any pain. I really didn't feel any pain, but the relief after the baby came out, that pain disappeared, as in, you know, I was just like numb because of that process that I went through with the labor pains. It was amazing, guys. And in my mind, I'm like, this was a beautiful process. You know, this was a beautiful process. Like, I could do this all over again. I feel like I'm not bashing public hospitals, guys. They do the best they could with the resources they have. But I felt like with this one, oh gosh, guys, God, if you put me through this process again, I'd go through it again. This was beautiful. Like, my baby was beautiful. The baby was crying, yes, but it was beautiful, guys. Dr. Nake came in late. I think he came in right after the baby just came out, and he was just like, how? Wano Hassan Kemela? You know, and then this was like, she was in just a hurry, guys. My baby was born around 4:30 in the morning, the AMs, in the early mornings, in Kamata, other people misong. And it was just beautiful, guys, and I really enjoyed this process. I really enjoyed it. The nurses were just the best. Even though Sister Bina said she'll be there, but she wasn't there that day. I think she was there during the day, and when I came in, she had already knocked off. But in the morning, she was there. She made sure that she was there. She was on duty, guys. And the process was beautiful. I'll show you the video. I really enjoyed everything, and obviously Dr. Nike had sewed me up. I think I had 3 stitches. It wasn't really bad like my first where I had 10. I had 3 stitches, and it didn't. What I dreaded the most was going to the toilet, if it's going to sting. And the first time I went into the toilet, it felt like, did I just give birth? I did not feel the sting. I did not feel the stitches. I did not feel anything, guys. My bath was smooth. I could sit however I want. I could put up my legs. The only struggle was getting off the bed, because my one leg was still a bit, I wouldn't say stale. It felt as if it was stiffened. It was a bit painful to get off the bed. I think I had that for a good month or so, even when I was home. But everything went well, guys. My baby was fresh and healthy, and I enjoyed having a baby, having to enjoy my baby, because with my first baby I could not enjoy because of the pain. But my grandmother was my support system. My aunt was my support system, and I really, really do appreciate those people. But guys, if I had the millions in the world, I'd literally have like 5 kids. I'd have 5 kids, guys. This is how much I enjoy being a mom. I really enjoy being a mom. I enjoy the process. I enjoy having, it was a struggle finding a gynae after Dr. De Beer, but my mom was just like, go to Dr. Nike because he's a family gynae. And that's what I enjoyed the most. One thing I forgot to share is that I went for a pap smear, guys, and Dr. Memo could not see that I was pregnant, which was really, really scary, because I was like, what if she knew? I think she knew, but it was, guys, I enjoyed my pregnancy. I enjoyed giving birth. I enjoy being a mommy. I enjoy just hanging out with my children, guys, and just being a kid again. I just feel like I'm their sister. But with this one, I feel like I'm a mom for real. With my son, I feel like I'm his sister. But I'm thankful for the support system. I'm thankful for my husband. I thank you, husband. Thank you, Aziza. Thank you, my Zizozo. I thank you. I thank you to my siblings. Oh my gosh, they're so amazing with my children. Thank you to my mom that helped cut the umbilical cord. She was there through and through. She's still there through and through. Thank you to my friends. Thank you to the people that made it possible for my baby shower. I really love you guys.